You're watching the SEGADriven YouTube channel, and it's back to our Sonic Amateur Games Expo 2023 coverage with a look at Sonic Spectre by TheBearBridge. Now, isn't this a cool little thing? I think this one has kind of passed a lot of people by, and I would thoroughly recommend this. So yeah, we've got it's a 16-bit style Sonic fan game. But, you know, with a nice widescreen display, a little bit more colour depth, and loads and loads of custom graphics. I keep complaining about a lot of these games just feeling a bit jigsaw, like they've been pieced together using existing assets from, classic Sonic games. But not this one. This one feels very much actually like a Lake Fepard game. It feels very much like Sonic after the sequel, and I think even the Sonic sprite sheet is actually the same one as Sonic after the sequel, which is probably why I'm getting that vibe. But yeah, it definitely feels like Lake Fepard stuff has been a big influence on this game. And that's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. And this is a substantial demo. There's 5 fully completed zones in this, consisting of 2 normal acts and 1 boss act. The bosses in particular in this are fantastic. Honestly, some of the most interesting and creative bosses I've seen in a Sonic fan game for quite a while. They're very much based on you scaling a large enemy first and then trying to find the weak points when you reach the top. It kind of reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus quite a bit, actually. It's always like, taking down these great big monstrosities, which is a really, really cool little touch. I very much enjoy sort of turning the boss into a stage in itself. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. I think they're the absolute highlight of this. The bosses are just super creative. The stages themselves are pretty good too. There's definitely that sort of back and forth between the speedy sections and the platforming. Although I will say that the speedy sections do feel like they're cut short quite a lot. They do feel like there's always something blocking your path from really going just ham and absolutely going nuts and getting lots of speed and doing lots of roller coastery stuff. It does feel like it seems to want to stop you in your tracks quite an awful lot, which is a real shame. It doesn't hit a nice flow between the speed and the platforming. But it's still pretty decent as on the whole. It's just a minor complaint in the grand scheme of things. It'd be nice to see that sort of like tweaked a little bit going forward, just so that the stage flow feels a little bit nicer. Some of the stages are a little bit busy as well, and you do kind of get lost as to sort of the backgrounds are so busy and similarly coloured to the actual sprites themselves that it's kind of difficult to see what's going on. The first stage in particular really does suffer from that quite a bit. So yeah, there needs to be a little bit more better colour contrast. Thankfully the other stages do seem to have that better colour contrast that I'm looking for. But yeah, that first stage in particular really sort of suffers as a result. But again, it's a minor complaint because I think what is here is really, really solid. A great foundation for something in the future. Seems like they really want to see this through to completion, because if they've already completed 5 zones, that's very impressive for a demo release. There's a lot to enjoy in here. I was very surprised by this. It feels like a bit of a sleeper hit. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this one. So yeah, I would thoroughly recommend checking out Sonic Spectre, especially if you like a bit of classic Sonic, because this is doing a lot that I really like, and yeah, it's got its own style and identity because there's so much custom artwork in it, which I've been very much looking forward to in a classic sort of 16-bit style Sonic fan game this stage, and finally this is the one that's doing it. So yeah, well worth checking out this one. Obviously be prepared for a few issues regarding sort of the graphics being a little bit too busy in that first stage, and the stage design favouring more platforming and less speed because of the constant obstructions. But honestly, well worth checking out regardless. I think this is doing something really cool that I would like to see expanded on in the future.